Greetings and welcome, guys, gals, and non-binary fellas, to episode 329 of the Words About Games podcast, the weekly news, culture, and gaming podcast for Words About Games. I'm your host, Amy K. Alexander, joined this week by the God of War himself, Deaf and Moody.
I am here.
I don't know if you should.
I am here. It's Monday. Fuck it, I don't care.
Fuck this shit. It's Monday. Fuck this.
Yeah, I hate Mondays.
I mean,
So you definitely know what that fucking means.
yeah.
I'm already swearing already, so that tells you how I'm feeling.
There's no fudge this week. So skipped
Fuck the
right
fudge.
over. Fuck the fudge. I
Fuck the
I
fudge.
don't even like fudge. I don't even like fudge that much.
I enjoy it, but yeah. How are you?
I know I was gonna ask, but I think it's pretty obvious. How am I? I'm good. I'm good. I played a video
I'm
game.
happy one of us is good.
I played a video game almost non-stop for 3 days, and I'm great.
I almost did. Then I got ill.
Yeah. Yeah, that's yes.
That's why there was no episode last week,
That's why there
because
was an episode last week.
that was my fault.
No,
I got
now.
ill Saturday
Now.
night.
And I even put it out. I put it out on Twitter.
I'm not on there anymore, so I didn't say it.
Well, funny story.
You could have slated me and I wouldn't have bothered.
I put it out on Twitter, and all I said was, "Oh, there's illness," and then I put in brackets, "It's not mine for a change." And then because I'd put the Dishonored 2 video out like the week before, the Friday before, and I was like, okay. I was gonna do an update video anyway, just like and I thought I'm gonna vlog. I've been meaning to like start vlogging, and I made a vlog, and I said like, oh, there was no podcast. Moody got sick. It's nobody's fault. It only kicked in on the day we were recording, which was short
It's
notice.
some fucker's fault, and if I ever find out whoever gave me this, trust me, my partner's gonna kill him because she now has it, and she ain't happy right now.
I'll bet. No, it's just
I think I'm coming to the end of it, even though I still sound like deaf.
If it sounds like you've described it to me in messages, and it sounds very similar to what I had when we missed the podcast because I was off sick, and like it's like it was just too short notice again. Like I messaged a bunch of people, and everyone was very polite in basically saying, "Why the fuck are you asking?
Fuck off."
What the fuck are you asking? I'm like, you want me to podcast 12 hours from now? Fuck off. But they were all very polite about it, so that was nice.
Mm-hmm. All in their own polite ways.
Yeah. It was fun though. Like I just sat down and just talked bollocks and then edited that into a video. Which
I saw.
Describes so many videos that I make. But even in that, at the end of the video, I was like, "Oh, follow us on Twitter down there." And then I was like, "Wait, don't follow Moody because he's deleted his account. He's not there anymore."
Yeah. Moody fucked off.
We have two conflicting ideologies in regards to like the Twitter kerfuffle, which is like Moody was just instantly like, "Nah, fuck this, I'm out." And I'm just like, I want to stand in the middle of the wreckage as it's all coming down around me with popcorn.
Well, the wreckage is coming down. There's no doubt.
Oh, definitely. Like
if this bastard can save this, I'll be very surprised.
Oh my god, I was just like, I want front row seats to this shit. This shit's great. Like, if we had done an episode last week, like I was gonna put a Twitter thing in the episode just so we could laugh at all the parody accounts that popped up when everybody could buy a blue check for $8, like the Nintendo of America one with the Mario being all like, hey.
Oh yeah, I saw that on SkillUp's weekly video he did.
Yeah, it was an entertaining few days. Twitter's going down, man. It's interesting because like we're all tweeting about it, right? Like we're all tweeting about Twitter fucking destroying itself. But then we're also just like tweeting like normal. Like I was live tweeting my attempt to platinum God of War last night.
Congratulations.
And I did. Thank you. But it was just like, it's that weird thing of like, I'm tweeting all this stuff and there's like the whole platform's going down. Like, and maybe we should be talking about that. And I'm here talking about like Crucible challenges and optional boss fights, just like almost like, yeah, this is fine. Like the dog in the GIF. And drinking the tea, going, this is fine while everything's burning around him. That's basically what Twitter's like at the minute.
No doubt, no doubt.
And then like everybody's moving on to the new social media app, which is Mastodon, I guess, which is so confusing when you start off. You've got to pick a server, and like it's like decentralized, so like there's all these different servers to pick and everything. And like, I mean, I figured it out with help. And then it's just like, if you've got to pick if you've got to pick a server before you can even start, like this thing's not going to take off. Like, if there's one thing we've learned about which social medias survive and thrive and which don't, it is simplicity at the point of entry needs to be important, and Mastodon is not simple at the point of entry.
The name itself sounds stupid.
Mastodon. It's a type of elephant.
Stupid.
They're not called tweets, they're called toots.
I call it stupid. I am not in the mood.
Unfortunately, there is no clear alternative. I did see a few people like saying like everybody who's been fired from Twitter, which is most of Twitter at this point, should all just band together, go out to some investors, and just their pitch should just be, it's Twitter without Elon Musk. And they'd probably be able to do it.
Probably, yeah. Probably.
So
I'll just say I hope everyone lands on their feet because of this
Definitely.
Twitter debacle and F1.
Absolutely.
I have to question you still that you worked at Twitter, but either way, a job's a job, I guess. I'm just being spiteful there. I apologize for that.
Twitter was, good and bad.
Twitter
right?
wasn't good.
Right, let me just start right there. For a lot of different demographics, Twitter was very bad and good at the same time.
I think you just called Twitter racist there. All in one. The byline, big Twitter.
The thing about
bigotry.
The thing about Twitter was it was everything all at once, right? It was super racist, but also like that was where a lot of that was like. I mean, remember Black Lives Matter back in 2020, right? Like that wouldn't have even been a thing if like Twitter wasn't around, because how would we have all seen that? So it's both super racist, but also like super positive against anti-racism at the same time. And like Twitter is a paradox, is what I guess I'm trying to say.
It's like you want to shout at Twitter and just say, Twitter, pick a side.
Twitter's free for all. Probably
like,
the best way to describe it.
Yeah.
I'd normally ask how you are, but I don't.
I'm dying.
Yeah.
But the worst thing is, this is the worst thing I was saying to you off air. I've been fine all day. It's literally just kicked in the last half an hour. And I'm like, why? Why now?
Why? That's fair. This
is what you're going to see all day.
Yeah.
All episodes, me muting myself, coughing like crazy.
And like audio listeners are going to wonder why all of a sudden Rudy stops talking and Amy just suddenly starts talking. And it's like, he's coughing. And I'm just going,
he's dying.
Like, the fact that he's here is, like, I got to say, like, from like Wednesday, Thursday onwards, we text each other all the time, but I was kind of waiting for that one text of just like, hey, you should get someone else for this weekend. Like, I was just waiting for it, and never came. And then you text me saying, hey, can we record earlier? And I was like, unfortunately not. But I was just waiting for that.
I wish you so said yes there, because I've been fine all day. I don't know if I've already said that.
Ironically, I could have probably done it yesterday, because like I didn't stream.
It's fine.
And you didn't stream. The big Pokemon extravaganza never happened.
I've played it.
I mean, I know you
Oh,
played it.
I've got.
I've seen the videos.
There are thoughts, massive thoughts on this.
I've seen some vids, Moody. I've seen some vids.
I haven't.
You've played it though.
I've played it.
I don't even have it.
Yeah. My goodness.
Seems like it's not a good place to jump into Pokemon.
Game Freak, you royally fucked it up.
Wow. Because I've seen a lot of people. What I've seen, the general consensus that I've seen, because I don't follow Lunatic. Well, I follow almost exclusively lunatics on Twitter, but like not like that kind of lunatic, is that like people who know what nuance is. And the general consensus I've seen from people playing Pokemon is there's a really, really good Pokemon game buried in here somewhere.
Yes.
But then I also get all of the funny video compilations. And it reminds me of, like, you remember when that WWE game came out?
Yep.
It reminds me of that.
Yep.
But people are being nicer about it because it's Pokemon.
Yep. Don't know why. You're letting them get away with this. Especially with the money they're going to make from this game still.
It's like, yeah, someone showed me, like, apparently the characters do this thing where they go, like, long limbs and stuff. The trainers and stuff, and I just looked at it and went, oh, no.
The worst thing is, it's been a weird 7 days for Pokemon in general.
Sure.
Last Friday, not the Friday just gone, the Friday after, before I got ill.
Sure.
Ash Ketchum, in the anime, became the world champion of Pokemon.
Yeah, I saw
They
that.
fucking did it. They literally made him the best there ever is.
Like the theme
in
song.
the anime. And Amy, I've watched the episode many times.
Sure.
It's fucking amazing.
Awesome.
The final episode of him fucking doing it is incredible. And there's so much feels in it. I'm so high on it. I was so high.
You're just like, Pokemon, fuck yeah.
Yeah, it really was. But then I think it was Thursday, the reviews come out, and they came out really early on Thursday.
Yeah.
I was very surprised how early they came out, and I was like, yeah. But the thing is, every review I read all was saying what everyone's saying. There's a great game in here.
Sure.
It's the performance that's holding it back.
Sure.
Then I have to seriously question Nintendo on this. Because, as everyone knows, I work in game development.
Sure.
Nintendo, when it comes to Nintendo to getting the certification for Nintendo, you have to put your game in 8 to 12 weeks before you even 8 to 12 weeks before your actual date is meant to release.
Sure.
So obviously they have to put it on the little cards and everything like that. But there's certification tests on there that is frame rate. And you can only pass if you stay at a consistent 30 frames per second. These games do not do that.
No.
So they've literally went, fuck it, it's Pokemon. We're good. They've literally done
Everyone's going to buy it anyway. So who cares,
yes.
Right? Everyone's going to buy this one, and then everyone's going to buy the next one. So who gives a shit?
Yes, that's the thing about it. That's much like me. Thankfully, I had money on my game card. So I was just like, free money, free no
Pokemon?
money I'm spending.
I love how you can trick your brain into thinking, yeah, it's free, right?
Yeah.
Free.
Well, it basically was for me, so it was all right. But, yeah. And, yeah, it's like, the worst thing is, like I said, there is a great game in there, and I have enjoyed what I've played so far. But fuck me, Lord. The performance is atrocious. It's really bad.
Again, I've seen it. I don't even know how to describe it. Like,
I know.
I've seen videos. I think Rebecca Valentine's been sharing a lot of videos on Twitter as well. I've seen some shit. And again, I haven't played it, but like I've seen like in the battle thing where you throw the Pokemon out, at the beginning. It like just becomes stop motion animation.
Yeah.
And it's just like, holy shit. Like, the premise of my Dishonored 2 video was when it came out, it felt like it could be an amazing game, but it was buggy on the platform where I played it on. And it's just like, I'm looking at these Pokemon videos and going, but it was never that bad. Oh my god. But yeah, it's been an interesting week for Pokemon, I guess. But we'll do Pokemon review next week.
Next week or the week after.
Next week or the week after, because we got like a game to review. We've both like completed very quickly.
You mean if I didn't get ill, I would have completed it probably before you.
I think it's like you were,
I was ahead of you.
You were ahead of me because
you
I didn't
hadn't
start.
played it at all when I stopped playing it on Saturday night that I know of.
No, so I started it on Thursday.
The Thursday just gone.
Well, it came out on the Wednesday, didn't it?
So yeah, but like I said, to my knowledge, like I was ahead of you in time in game to play.
Sure.
And obviously, if I didn't get ill, I believe I would have completed Poised by Monday. I would have smashed it all on Sunday as well.
Yeah, I just sat down and played it on Thursday. Finished the campaign on Friday night, and then was like, I don't feel like I'm done. We'll talk about this in the review. This is Words About Games podcast every Monday, YouTube, Twitch. No, we don't put the podcast on Twitch. All the platforms that I've already said. We've already started, so we'll just get straight into it. The main story of this week is the God of War Ragnarok review. Like, I split it into 3 parts. Essentially, we'll do a quick spoiler-free bit where we just give our general thoughts on the game. People haven't played it, so they can watch and be like, "Hey, what did you think of it?" I think what we've already said, basically. We'll give you a general overview of whether we liked it or not. Then we'll do a story spoilers section, and then there'll be a quick post-game spoilers section, because as I mentioned in the intro, Amy platinumed the game. My 4th ever platinum. So let's do a spoiler-free thoughts. I mean, what are your spoiler-free thoughts of God of War Ragnarok? He's thinking. He's not coughing.
I don't know where to start, really.
Interesting.
I'll say these words. I'll take this from Greg Miller. I understand why he said Kratos could be the best character ever created.
Okay.
I can see that. I can see that for what they do with him in this game.
I like the fact that there was a narrative, like, not in the game, like surrounding the game, that like, maybe Kratos is done, like maybe like this is it. Yeah. It's just like he comes out and it's just like he's fucking incredible in this game.
Yeah, we all thought he was Christopher Judge was amazing in the last one, in the 2018 game. He was absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely. But I think he truly does take it to a whole new level in this. And that's praise to the entire people who created the script and the dialogue for him, and obviously the people he worked with in the game.
Directors, mocap, all that stuff.
Yeah.
He does.
I'll state this right away. This is my game of the year.
Okay, well. Spoiler alert.
I'm not gonna say anything more about that. Right now it's my game of the year. And I don't think Pokemon's going to do it.
Shocked if Pokemon's going to do it. Look, on the bright side, though, if you don't put Pokemon Scarlet and Violet on your Game of the Year list, at least there was another Pokemon game that came out this year.
Yes, that one is probably on my Game of the Year list.
And I know you enjoyed that one because I watched you play for 10 hours straight.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, man. Of everything else that's going on in God of War Ragnarok, and there's a lot going on, we will dive into it in our spoiler section, but this is spoiler free. I think that is the first thing that jumped out at me in terms of things that I really loved about Ragnarok is like Christopher Judge just somehow finds a whole new level to take it to. We've gushed about his performance in God of War 2018 for 4 years. And then you just you go in and you think you know what you're going to get because it's he can't possibly kick it up a notch. And then he just does. And it's such a good performance. It carries the whole fucking game. And this isn't a game that needed carrying. There's There's a couple. I have a couple of criticisms of the game, but they're relatively minor compared to like this game. Just fucking fires on all the cylinders from the second it starts.
Oh, the second it starts, I'm not spoiling anything. We'll get into the spoilers because I want to gush all about it.
Oh yeah,
But there is a massive dick measuring contest in the opening of this game, and I love it so much. It was amazing.
Sure.
And I want like, and I can't wait to rewatch that again. Or heck, even play it again.
Replay it, right? Like,
yeah.
Like I'm literally sitting here, like having completed the entire game to completion. You even get a little thing because the epilogue is called Beyond Ragnarok, and you even get a thing pop up when you do everything that says Beyond Ragnarok 100% complete. So I've got nothing left to do in this game, and I'm literally just like, oh, but I could just play it again though. Like I could just play it again. I feel like I could hit New Game Plus or New Game or whatever and just do it again.
You really, really could.
And go for a ride. Because the ride, like you were texting me last night when you were playing it, and I said, like, there is one thing you need to do after the credits, even if you do nothing else. And I hadn't finished it, like, completed it by then. But like I said, and I texted you and just said, just enjoy the ride, though. And this is such a fucking great experience from, like, a narrative perspective. Like I just constantly wanted to know like everything. Like I want to just keep going and just keep going and just keep, like a chapter finishes and I'm just like, right, cool, but what happens next? You know what I mean? Like it's like when you watch a show and you just end up binge watching the entire thing like as fast as possible because you just can't help yourself. And that's how I felt playing God of War Ragnarok. I was just like, I just need to keep going. Like I just need to see what happens next.
Yeah, I agree for the most part on that. I do believe it felt it was a little too long, but at the same time, the character moments were so incredible. I completely forgot all about it.
Exactly, right? Like, so one of my criticisms was in the first half of the game, I would say there's a couple of chapters that go on too long. I think the game has some pace problems. Not in terms of like mixing in the side content or whatever, just in terms of like the actual chapters themselves. The story, like a chapter will take 90 minutes and you're playing it thinking this could have been shorter. Like, but then like you get through that chapter and I was like, for fuck's sake, man, there were a couple of times where I'd look at my watch and go, is this not over yet? Oh no, there's more, great. But then like you get to the next bit and then you just immediately forget about it because something amazing just happens on the screen and then you're like, cool, I'm in. And then you do this next chapter and the next chapter is fucking awesome or whatever.
Yeah, it's disgusting. Because the game is so great, it makes you forget about the negative, the criticisms, the legit criticisms you had for it.
Sure.
Because it really is that just great of a narrative and gameplay wise, it's.
Satisfying.
I don't know how they've done it, but somehow it felt better than the last one, and the last one was awesome when it came to its gameplay.
I think a big part of that is the boss fights are much better. I
think that's what it is, and because it was a climactic fights all the time, basically, like these are, you felt the punches, you felt the fights because you were just like, I am not going to let you lose, Kratos. We're going to win this, Kratos.
Like there's this magic that happens in the boss fights, especially, which is just like it's like a convergence of narrative and gameplay, especially in some of the boss fights, which we'll talk about in the spoilers. But like you feel what Kratos feels in those fights. Like, not at the same extent, obviously, he's the God of War. Like, his whole thing is he's got loads of rage. But you're like, if Kratos is like, whatever Kratos is doing in the boss fights, you are generally like, yeah, let's fucking do this, right? You're on the same page. Whereas I think some of the boss fights in God of War 2018, amazing game. It was my game of the year in 2018. Like, sometimes felt a bit like they were disconnected. Like, the first fight in God of War against Baldur is one of my favorite moments of both games. Like, it's just so incredible. And they try to do it again in this one. And I don't think they quite captured it the way they did the first time. But
I think they did that again because I think everyone was just like, we can't delay this fight that long. We
Well,
gotta let them the people
yeah.
get into it as fast as they can with
Yeah,
it.
yeah. And it was a good fight. It's just like
Yeah.
obviously when you're talking about like a high watermark. But I think like if I think back on God of War 2018, I don't remember too many of the boss fights that happened in that game.
But I think that's fair because we didn't.
I'm gonna remember a lot of them. I'm gonna remember fighting such and such.
Yeah. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. I agree with you. I think we're getting under to levels here of hitting spoilers here now. So I think we should just
awesome game, fantastic. Moody's
go
game,
get it.
Moody's game of the year so far. I don't know. I haven't thought about it that hard, but a game of the years and stuff. But it's definitely fucking. I mean, I platinumed it. What more do you want?
I think that tells me everything about it for you. When I heard you say I've planned this, I was like,
I'll talk about it because I specifically said I want to do a post game section because I want to talk about why I platinumed it. Because there's like layers to this shit. Because
there is.
But let's just go full spoilers. So this is your warning. If you don't want any spoilers for the main story of God of War Ragnarok, up to the credits, both of them, leave like timestamps in the description. You just click them and go to Indie Game of the Week and come back to this when you've played the game. Spoiler thoughts, Mooney. Unleash yourself.
That dick swinging contest between Kratos and Thor and Odin. Let's just say Odin comes into this as well. Played spectacularly by Richard
Fucking amazing. Richard
Schiff.
Yeah.
And the guy who plays Thor, Ryan Hurst.
Oh my god. They're so good. Like as much as I say like Chris Judge was amazing in this game, like on the next level and stuff, everybody was awesome. Everybody was awesome.
But I think because everybody was awesome, I think Christopher Judge just stands out even more because he brought something even more. I don't know how, because he was so good in the last game, but he somehow, I think because everybody brought the level. And again, the writing was incredible. There was some incredible scenes, incredible character moments for every main and significant side character in this game. Freya, Brock, Syndra, Mia, Boda, Thud. Even though some of these only come into the game through this
awesome.
game, Thud was awesome. I loved her. I loved her so much. Heimdall, Tia,
Odin, Thor,
Fenrir,
Mimir. How can we forget Mimir? How can I forget Mimir? I want to run around calling everyone brother now.
Yes.
Everybody
bought their game. And I have to shout the kid out. Sonny Sulliff, who plays Atreus. He was incredible in the first one. We already know that. But he raised his game even more to a brilliant level. And like I've seen the afterthoughts of the game from PlayStation, like with Christopher Judge talking about it, like the creator's story and everything like that. But he basically talks about the kid who plays Atreus, Sonny. Of that, when he first played him, he obviously met him when he was 10, and he was very shy. He didn't know. He was just like getting into it. He was excited doing it, but now he came in. He had thoughts about what can we do for this scene and everything. And I think that's elevates, because what he was doing, I think that's elevated Atreus' story even more.
Sure, definitely.
So absolutely incredible. And I have to shout out one more person, Adam J. Harrington, Syndra. Fucking hell. What they do with Syndra in this game is incredible. And Brock, fuck it, Robert Craig
So
is incredible.
I was loving the game all the way through.
Yeah.
The first moment in the game where it made me feel emotions. like when it's tugging on the heartstrings and stuff, was when you go to forge the spear. And you're in the lift, and it does the thing, and then Brock finds out, I died. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
and he's
Brock,
missing a bit of a soul.
And Brock has generally been the funny character.
Yeah.
for this entire ride. And then like it's the part where it's like, like, oh, this spear needs a blessing. And then he's just like, well, I can't do it. And Kratos is just, it's that part got me
It's
like
amazing.
so much. Where
Yeah.
it's just like, I can't even describe it. It's like that was the first part where I was like, okay, yeah, this game is something.
There's something here. Yeah. There's no doubt about that.
Definitely.
Yeah. Like there's so many great moments in this game. There really is. And it's like, how do you pick them out? It's like, it really is. Like, I think they do such an incredible job. Like, I love that you don't just play as Kratos. You play as Atreus.
I was trying to dance. I was trying to remember to dance around that in the spoiler-free section where I was like, you actually don't just play as Kratos in this game.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really, 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 really funny and really, really good. I love the part where he tries to do what his dad does.
Oh, where he punches
to smash up the box.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, use the bow. No, like Atreus' story, like it makes, like I think in this game it makes a lot of sense that it flips between the two of them, right? Because like the story is about broken people, like. Like all of the characters who are in Sindri's house are broken people in some way. And Atreus' story is like rising because like obviously like he's a god now. He's a god and he's got this prophecy and then we've got to fight the prophecy by doing the thing that the prophecy said. Like I didn't really understand Atreus' logic, but he's a teenager. They don't make smart decisions.
Yeah, I could get around that because, like I say, he's a teenager. They don't do smart decisions whatsoever.
Well, I've seen a lot of people criticize Atreus for being stupid or annoying, and it's just like that's storytelling.
Yeah,
and like that's the arc he goes on because even at the end of the game, when Kratos even turns around and says, "Look, we wouldn't have survived this if it wasn't for the choices that you made and the people that you chose to trust."
Yeah.
Like, so it's like, yeah, it was quite clever sort of sleight of hand where it was like the narrative focuses on Atreus' mistakes, like where he frees Garm, and that was a terrible mistake, but also it kind of wasn't a terrible mistake in the end because when they fixed it, that's one of the reasons why they survived Ragnarok. And so like it does this clever sleight of hand where at the end when Kratos says that and you just think about it and you're like, oh, actually, yeah, like this only went well because of the decisions that Atreus made. It's just they weren't the ones that we were focusing on.
Yeah. And that's what's so good about it. Kratos he's throughout this entire game, he's literally just trying to protect his son. And to be the best dad he can ever be, that he can truly be. And he does it in such a great way. He just fights and fights and fights and fights just to try and save his son and protect his son. And I love the realization at the end when he's like, he's trying to protect his son, but he realizes that, no, what I'm trying to get you to do is like be like me a little bit. No, don't close yourself off. Be loving, love people, help the people, and everything like that.
Yeah, it's like open your heart to it.
Yeah, like what you've just said. All his choices is because of what he did, because he opened his heart to all these people. And they're here, fighting with them, even if one of them doesn't really want to be there right now. Sindri.
Yeah, Sindri. Oh, poor Sindri. That was God. That was such a out of the blue moment.
Yeah, it really was. But I want to get back to one thing: the dick measuring contest at the beginning again. That dialogue was incredible from all of it, and I love at the end after Odin gives his proposal or offer, and Kratos stands up and just goes,
No.
One word. No. And then he says, don't take too long, Thor. And it was just like, yes, we're gonna go in there.
Yeah, because
Thor wins.
Of course he does.
He fucking wins. That's the thing about it. What makes it even more. I love Thor, but even I was just like, oh, I know why you're doing it, and you can't kill him at the beginning of this game.
But he's not allowed, right? Odin doesn't want him to kill. Doesn't want him killing because then Atreus won't trust him. But
I love they put that in the game. He kills him and then brings him back. He goes to a sort of screen.
You die.
And, Kratos
and then he's like,
at the beginning.
Nah, fam.
Nah,
not yet. Bam, and you're back, and it's just like Jesus. This is good. This is the good shit. Like
this really was, Like everyone knows my love for the almighty Chris Hemsworth.
Sure.
We all know I love that man.
Yeah.
Ryan Hurst, I love you, sir.
Well, yeah, I mean,
you were incredible as Thor.
Like you say, every character goes on a journey, like of a certain proportion, and even Thor does. Like you learn a lot about like why Thor is the way he is, and you know, like how much of a piece of shit Odin is, like how he treats him and stuff, and then like you see that develop through the game. And even though Thor is basically an asshole for most of the game to Atreus, like you still sympathize with him because. Yeah, like, okay, like, you know, you are in control of how you act and stuff, but, like, the shit that you have to go through, like, I get it, right? I get why you are the way you are. Yeah. And then in the end, he does try to do the right thing.
Yeah, he does, and it's like, it's incredible. Like, the second fight between him and Kratos is just like,
so good.
Oh my god, this is amazing.
So good. That fight is just everything.
Yeah, it really was. Especially when Thor's fighting the snake from a distance.
You can
and
see
it just comes flies in.
Bang, bang. It's just like you can see the fight happening because he's fighting the fucking world serpent. Yeah. There's an interesting comment. There's an interesting line about that in the post game when you're traveling around Midgard. And they're talking about it. And it's like, but this, like, the world serpent disappears. Like, it just vanishes from the fight at the end. And then, like, they're going around, and it's Mimir and Kratos and Freya as, like, the gang that, like, travels around. And, like, they're talking about how, like, it's weird because, like, it looks like the world serpent is still here. And then they're like, what? And there's, like, because there was this one piece of dialogue that was so incidental earlier on in the game where they were talking about where the world serpent came from. And it's like, oh, well, you know, the mythology or whatever in the game's lore is like Thor's fighting him and hits him so hard he travels back in time. And that's where the world serpent came from. And they're like, holy shit, we actually just saw that happen. That's what happened. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. Like even little details like that, it ties it together.
Yeah. There's so many little details that brings back from the last game is incredible.
The conversation Kratos and Atreus have in Helheim, where it's such a good heart-to-heart. It's one of my absolute favorite moments of the game. It's where they're deciding to trust. It's where they're finally like coming together to trust each other, and Kratos finally does what he probably should have done a long time ago and apologizes to Atreus, and then Atreus just says, "Don't be sorry, be better." And I was just like, "Fucking yes,
yes."
Inject this shit into my veins.
yeah. It was incredible. It really is. Like, it's just the small nuances, and that's just great storytelling throughout all of them. So I'm curious, what are your thoughts on what they do with Freya in this game?
So I have thoughts on this. Some of it I won't be talking about just yet because there's more in the post game. I love the fact that you're just riding through the fucking snow at the beginning of the game. She just bursts out of nowhere and tries to kill you. Like, as far as I'm concerned, that was like the best introduction to your character ever.
Or a reintroduction.
She's just like, oh, fuck you. And Kratos is just like, no.
No, you will not kill me.
I really enjoyed Freya's story arc throughout the game. It's more subtle, I would say, than a lot of the other like character arcs. But like it's got a lot of twists and turns to it, you know, like, you know, she's trying to kill you, and then I love the backyard fight, as the trophy's called. Where she turns up as the Valkyrie Queen and you almost kill her and then you figure out who she is. And I do love the what's the best way to describe it? The resolution of their like beef. Like because they go on a long quest together. Midway through the game. And then like you fight Nidhogg, and then which was also cool. and then like, you know, they have that long conversation, and I just love the way it's written, where it's like they never compromise Kratos to say like, oh man, maybe I shouldn't have killed your son to save your life. He literally says like, I'll never apologize for that because like I saved your life, but like maybe I shouldn't have robbed you of that choice. And I was just like, this is next level writing. Like most games, most stories would have taken a different path, where Kratos would have just been like, yeah, man, I fucked up. And Freya would have been like, hey, maybe I did too. And it's like, no, both characters are right. Really. Like, that's just how
Yeah.
messy, like, life is. That's just how messy life can get. And I love the fact that it acknowledges that both characters are kind of in the right. Even though they both have made mistakes. And I love the dialogue and the back and forth between them in that whole mission. Specifically, like, her storyline does kind of keep going, and I was disappointed that we never got to see Atreus and Freya sort of like talk it out, because like Atreus is working with Odin a lot, and he never really has a conversation with Freya about what Odin's really like, because I feel like Freya could have told him a lot of shit. And Odin is really fucking good at manipulating people. So I do feel like once you got past that moment, not a lot is kind of going on with Freya until later.
Yeah.
much later. But yeah, no, I really did enjoy it.
I enjoy it. I just felt like the how it sorted itself out just felt a little bit forced for me a little bit, but also at the same time, because you hear them talk and you always hear them chatting and everything like that, and like it's a slow progress, like you said, it's a slow, nuanced storytelling with
Yeah.
her. So it does work in the end for me, but I was just like, oh really?
Yeah, I feel like she does suffer in the second half of the game from kind of like she's like spinning her wheels almost. She's like spinning in the mud, because for like most of the second half of the game, her entire character arc is basically, let's do a Ragnarok, and that's all like she's talking about. So like it does kind of like the first half of the game, which addresses the events of the last game, is awesome, and there's a lot of like momentum to it, but then the momentum kind of stalls out for a while because she's just kind of hitting the same note over and over again. So I do get where you're coming from with that.
Yeah.
You're just going to question me.
What?
You're just going to question me now. Is this an interrogation?
No, that's not an interrogation.
Should I turn my ring light up to?
What are your thoughts? What they did with Atreus, Kratos' wife and Atreus' mother, Laufey. Obviously, we'll say it, Kratos has dream sequences with her.
Yeah.
I thought they personally got the player.
Yeah, it took me a second, but then it was like, holy shit, it's Karen from Daredevil.
Yeah, Karen from Daredevil, yeah. Sadly, not coming back for the next season.
Yeah.
I thought what we were getting was great, but at the same time, because there was such a gap between the first one and the second one.
There weren't very many. Yeah,
there was only like 3 or 4, I think. If I remember off the top of my head, and I was just like, oh, I wanted more.
They were great scenes for sure. Like, and her presence does kind of linger over the whole story, because like one of the burning questions I had from the end of the last game, where it's like, you find out that the prophecy, that whole journey was like laid out on the wall, and it shows you the next bit that Kratos is like hiding from his son, because he's like, oh shit, I'm gonna die. So like her presence kind of like hangs over that, and like the whole time for the last 4 years, I've been like, okay, but why? Like, why did she? Because if she sent them to that place, she would have known that they were going to see all of that. And my question, and Mimir even asks that, Mimir and Kratos are even having a conversation in the game where they ask that question, which is like, why did she show them this? What was the purpose of that? And I love that you don't really get an answer to that until the very end of the game. I don't know if it necessarily, like, I get why it's a bit of a disappointment that she was only in it a little bit. I don't know if it would have been better if she'd have been in it more.
Well, that's the thing about it. I don't know if it would have been better if she was in more. That means then for in this game even more. Sure. Or taking it apart completely out of it.
I don't know. Like, I don't know if I liked what we got.
Yeah,
and it's one of the it's one of the few things in the game where I'm just like, I don't know if changing it would have been better or worse.
Yeah.
Because like if you have her in it more, then like I kind of like the way it's like addressed with the whole, especially with the prophecies and stuff, and the direction that all goes in. Because because like the whole game is basically about fighting fate, and I love a story where it's like, no, stories aren't written. So like the fact like that was great to me.
Yeah.
Especially how it all turns out, where it's like, yeah, she showed them that so that they would make better decisions, and that the prophecy that the giants made wouldn't happen.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
That's why she destroyed the bit that she destroyed, but left the part where it looked like Kratos was gonna die.
Yeah. Oh, I think so. For me, I think my two favorite characters in this game were probably Brock and Syndra.
Okay, sure.
They go on such an arc, and they're so more flushed out since the last one. It's incredible. Like we've already alluded to when we're about Brock, we find out in this game by Syndra when he goes on a journey with Atreus to go and see the giant serpent king.
Yeah, the world serpent.
The giant snake, the world snake. That's it. That Syndra, like Brock died,
Yeah.
and then Syndra went to hell or wherever he needed to go to get his soul back, but he couldn't get all his soul back. He left like a quarter of his
quarter
piece
of his soul is gone. It's still
in there. But he gets Brock is revived and everything like that. But and then obviously Brock
doesn't end well for him.
Yeah. and then Brock obviously finds out, and he's angry, but he at the same time he's like he doesn't hold it against his brother, which I think is just a masterful storytelling.
He's pissed off when he finds out, when he figures it out. He didn't find out so much as he figures it out, because that's the secret of Brock as a character. Like it's played for laughs that like, you know, he swears a lot and he's not very bright, but he's actually really intelligent. Like the reason that he dies is because he's the only person that figures out that Tyr's there's something fucking up with Tyr here. Like, hang on.
Yeah.
And like that's what he's doing, because he's needling him, right? Where he's just like, hang on, none of this makes any sense. What the fuck are you talking about? And then obviously he gets stabbed. Because it turns out Tyr isn't Tyr.
What I love even more in that part was because I didn't even notice it at all. Like what Brock says. When did you start calling him Loki?
Yeah, when did you start calling him Loki? What stuff? You don't have any stuff. And it's because he's walking off with the mask. He's going to walk into the broom closet. And that's why he's living in the broom closet, because it means he can just teleport himself back to Asgard whenever he wants. It's like, there's a lot of cool, like, stuff that way you really think about it. Like, you know, all of a sudden stuff just starts falling into place. And like that's one of the things I really liked about this game, where it's like, I mean, after his death, it was like, actually Brock is one of the smartest people in the room.
Yeah. He really was. And he was the one that was holding Syndra together.
Yeah. And then
Syndra goes through a lot on this, because like between the games, we find out that him and Atreus, they've been working together and become very good friends. And everything. And then when Atreus gets angry and he wants to head back to Odin, so he runs away. He turns into his bear form and smacks Syndra out the way. Sure. Obviously hurting Syndra and scaring Syndra at the same time.
Sure.
And just to get away to go back to Midgard.
Yeah.
No, not Midgard.
Well, that's where he goes, but it's to go to Asgard. Yeah.
Go to Asgard, that's it, Asgard. And then obviously Brock dies in his arms. Probably for the second time.
Probably. I mean, we don't know what happened the first time.
Yeah, the first time. All we know is that he died.
He died.
And Syndra breaks. And I love even though, because every time they just appear all the time.
It's so funny.
Yeah, it really was. But then everyone was just like, but you never show you how they do it. And then that one moment, they show you.
Yeah.
They can just teleport.
Yeah, they just disappear.
Yeah, they can just disappear out of the way and go wherever the hell they want. And when obviously Kratos and Atreus is like so broken when that all happened, because he blames himself, and it is partly because of him what has all happened.
Like, yeah, like Syndra has that great speech, and I think it's like the close to the end, not the end, where he's just saying, "You just take and take and take," and I was just like, you know what, he's not wrong. Like,
he's spot on.
Not wrong.
And Syndra is the most pleasant, well-mannered guy. So when he tells you to fuck off,
well,
you're just like, he's speaking it. Get the fuck out of here. I don't care if you're the God of War. I will slap you.
Yeah,
Kratos.
yeah. Well, Kratos even is just like, yo,
Yeah,
you get to feel however you want to feel. Like,
yeah,
the level of emotional intelligence that Kratos has, and when you think back, not to the last game, but to like the previous trilogy, and like the kind of character that Kratos was, and like to where Kratos is now, and it's just like this is just great. Like because you can see it, and it's addressed in the narrative where it's like he's slipping back into his old ways at certain points, right?
yeah,
And like you can see him slipping back, but then even he's like A, he has the emotional intelligence to recognize that he's doing that, and B, he has the character development to realize that he doesn't want to do that. And it's just
yeah,
like this is just chef's kiss.
yeah. It is incredible storytelling. It really was. It was amazing. Every major character and side major character gets an arc in this game in such an incredible way, where they are a different person by the end of it, alive or dead.
Or dead,
Either
yeah.
way, they
Oh,
were different before they died.
there's a body count.
Oh, there's a body count. There is a body count and a half, and it is so well done. The game, it really is. I can't say say anything.
My only minor disappointment with the ending of the game, the ending of the campaign, was that like there was never a moment where it looked like Kratos was gonna actually die. I was waiting for that moment where it looked like he might die, but then he's not going to die because Atreus makes a decision. And I was like, there's kind of a bit of almost bit where Atreus pushes him through the portal. But like, I mean, it wasn't really like, I don't know, like, you know, you build a prophecy up where a dude's going to die. It's like, can we at least put him in mortal peril?
Yeah,
Just for 10 seconds. That's all I'm asking.
yeah.
Just have Thor be ready to crush his head with Mjolnir or something. Like, by the
He
way,
hit him with it so hard.
I mean,
that
he hit him.
killed
Yeah, I mean, he didn't kill him at the beginning of the game, but I do love like it happens like twice in the game, like, and it's fucking epic every time where like you know Mjolnir and the Leviathan axe just hit each other in midair, and it's just like that's the shit. Like,
It really was. It really, really was. But the thing is, there was another weapon that could go toe to toe with Mew Mew. And that was Ingrid. That Atreus gets a little bit into the
Ingrid was
game.
cool. Yeah,
Ingrid was amazing. I was just like, you are the greatest thing ever. Why aren't you? Why have you not been? And then when he had to, when Atreus decided, I want to go home, and obviously others would stop him and said, no, but yeah, you have to leave all the stuff. It's like, oh man. Ingrid was so cool.
Ingrid was cool. Another like standout moment for me in the game that really like tugged at my heartstrings was the night before the final battle. When Atreus was wanting to go to sleep and he couldn't sleep and Kratos was like, "Oh, I'll tell you a story," and just like the amount of acting that is done in that scene without words, like is just like I watched that scene. I was gripped by that scene. Like I love the emotion and the intensity of this, like the quiet like intensity of the scene. I just wanted to shout it out. That wasn't connected to anything.
No. I think there's a lot of great scenes. Like I say, I want to shout out Scott Porter as Heimdall. God, he was a dick.
It was very satisfying to beat the shit out of him.
Yeah, it really was. He was a dick in such the perfect way.
I love
that you really wanted to kill him.
I really wanted to kill him. And then I love the fact that it's a great story beat where, you know, because like you kill Heimdall, you get the horn, and that's going to start Ragnarok. And so there was like the thing of like, we probably shouldn't kill this guy. And then, you know, you fight him because he turns up and he's just like, and you do the thing and you fight him and you chop his fucking arm off. And I was like, yes, that's good. And then Kratos is just like, but I'm not going to kill you. Not because of a prophecy and not because of this, just because of that's who he is now. And then Heimdall's like, no, I'm going to force the issue. So then, you know, you do kill him. And but it was the one time, like, because I'm all about Kratos being like, you know, maybe he's not murdering everybody he meets. But that was the one time where I was just like, nah, mate, just fucking end him. Fuck this guy.
It's like, Kratos,
I love that boss
have
fight,
the
by
mission.
the way. I fucking love that boss fight. Like, how good that...
Oh,
Because
it's a
I was
good
like,
boss
how
fight.
the fuck are you going to do a boss fight against a person who can read your every intention? Like, so, like, you know, like you start the boss fight and you're trying to hit him and he's just like, no, 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 oh, no. And it's just like the escalation of that fight when you can start like, oh, so good. So good.
It really was.
Anytime you're fighting any of the Ace here, really, it's pretty great. But I also really like the boss fight against Gom, the wolf.
Yeah.
Again, it's like narrative and gameplay colliding, right? It's
yeah. That's what I loved about it so much. About it,
I
like,
really didn't want to kill that wolf.
yeah, especially that. Especially, but what I loved even more about, like, it was just again nuanced storytelling, and because at the beginning, Atreus has a wolf called Freya. Fenrir. At the beginning of the game, old, battered, let's just say, dies at the beginning of the game, and I'm a sucker for any dog dying or good dog boy dying. So I was just like, "Oh, you bastards!" And there was no story with this, but yet they weave in a story.
Wait,
there's more.
Well, it was kind of subtle, and I completely forgot about it. Like, because you see the little lights come up, and even Kratos asks him later, and he's just like, "You did a spell," and Atreus is like, "No, I didn't," because it turns out I did it by accident. And then when you go to Jotunheim and you're hanging out with Angrboda as Atreus, and she says, "You know, there's a soul in your knife, right?" And in my head, I wasn't thinking, "Oh, that must be Fenrir." I was like, "Whoa, what if his mother's soul's in the knife? Because it's his mother's knife." Yeah, so I was like, "Is that his mom?" And then it was like, "No, it's Fenrir." And like, I wasn't even disappointed. I was like, that's fucking cool, because he then uses it and puts it in Gom. And I love the like Gom. I love when you beat Gom and he does the thing and he puts the soul in, and then they're just looking at him and he's just looking at them. And then Kratos is just like, sit. And then he just sits down. And Gom is a giant fucking wolf. It's not like a little wolf. He's fucking huge. Like, there's a moment when you kill him for the first time, and then he comes back and he's pissed, and he's literally running through Helheim, like, as he destroys the place. Just having this conversation, like, what the fuck do we do?
How do we stop this?
Yeah. Speaking of running, that was another awesome moment, is when you're rescuing Freya's brother, Freya.
Yeah.
And you pick him up. Kratos just picks him up and it's just like, let's fucking go. And you just run. You just run with him. And I was like, this is fucking awesome. And then you get in the paper boat flies away, and then there's fucking dragons coming. And I was just like, this is just cool, man. Like, it's touching, it's emotional, but sometimes it's just cool.
Yeah. And I think for the most part, everybody gets a satisfying ending.
Yep, I agree.
The people die who you think were probably going to die in it, and they deserve it, and because they do, because you hate them, but so much by the end.
Yeah, sure.
It's like, this is all great.
It's narratively satisfying. It's not Game of Thrones where people just die because we need death. Like, I've never subscribed, because Ragnarok is the final chapter of this phase of God of War, right? And I've never subscribed. Like, people always assume when something's ending that, like, loads of people are going to die. And it's just like, I've never subscribed to the idea that just because you're ending something, you need to start killing all your characters off left and right. Like, tell a satisfying story. And if that satisfying story happens to end in a character's death, then that's what happens. Like, there is a body count. Not a lot of characters die in this game, which is fine. Like, because they do such a good job of ending all of these different characters as narratives, including the new ones who are added for the new game. Like, I imagine there's people disappointed that Kratos didn't actually die in the game, but literally the entire time I was playing it, in the back of my head, I was just thinking, please don't kill him. Not because I enjoy the character or because Chris Judge is amazing. Like, I'm sure if they did, it would have been an awesome moment in the game. But the entire time I was just like, just don't do it. Like, you've prophesized he's going to die, so don't kill him. That would be the more narratively satisfying thing to do in this moment. Like, beat prophecy. That's what the story's about.
Yeah, I think you're fair. With that.
Because literally every other step leading up to that happens. It's that moment, it's that last part that's different. And I saw someone talking about this because you get to see Atreus gets to see the full prophecy when he goes to Jotunheim. And the one at the end of the last game is definitely Kratos. Sorry, the one in that one is definitely Kratos, but the one at the end of the last game, people were pointing out, like, I saw some people pointing out that actually that's Odin. Like now, like looking at hindsight of like having played the full game, it's like that's not Kratos. That because like it's someone dying and as Atreus is like cradling them, and that's exactly what happens to Odin.
Yeah, they think it's his father, but it's the All Father.
It's the All Father. Yeah.
Yeah. And everything, and yeah, it's just again new one storytelling, just done spectacularly well done. I wanted to bring up something.
Right,
so one of the negatives for me was, I think Anna Bonga is brilliant. I think
she is. Yes,
got for her, she does this incredibly well.
I think we have the same negative here, but go on.
That whole story, that whole gameplay section, I hated.
In Jotunheim the first time. So you know when I said like, oh, the first half of the game has some pacing issues, and there are some chapters where you're looking going, is this not over yet? That was literally the chapter I was talking about. I could not believe how long that went on for.
I'm guessing it's because you wanted to get them to have a connection, because by the end of it, let's just be frank here, Atreus is smitten like fuck at the end of with her. I
got some funny stories from the post game to talk about in a few minutes. But like you do the thing, you go Jotunheim, and it's important to the story. I get it. You know, he meets Angrboda shows in the prophecy, and like there's like, and like you just need some distance away in that moment from the gang. And you get like, I get why that portion of the game exists. But for me, and like, you know, like they need to sow that distrust with everybody else, where it's like, well, where did you go? I can't tell you.
Especially like, he's gone for 2 days.
Yeah, he's gone for 2 days. I love that bit, by the way, where he tries to go through the door and Chris just walks into him.
Where have you been?
Where have you
been? Gone for 2 days.
But like, yeah, that section dragged on way too long. And then when you're like, oh, we have to go to Grandma's house, I was just like, you're fucking kidding me. Like at that point, I was like, you're fucking shitting me. There's more? What the fuck?
Yeah. It's just like, really?
And I loved Angrboda and Atreus. I love that whole thing, that whole deal together. But like, fucking hell.
So I have one more thing to talk about before we move on, unless you have any more. So I think, I'm going to bring up Game of Thrones a little bit here. So everyone knows they didn't like, not a lot of people did not enjoy the finale, but also did not enjoy what they did with the White Walkers and everything like that. Because they made himself to be an important element.
They're the big bad of the series.
And everything like that. Well, I think Game of Thrones, I think God of War Ragnarok has an element of that, but it's, I think, done so well, and is not important to any character apart from one, and that is Odin, and that's the mask.
So, yeah, I mean, one, I'm just gonna throw it out there right now. I don't think this branch of God of War, the story is over. Like I think the storyline that was started in God of War is over, but I don't think like God of War is over in any way. Yeah, I get why the mask is what it is at the end, because like Atreus has to make that choice, right, between the mask and, so like I get why he makes the choice that he makes narratively and in character.
And I think it's satisfying. For me, it was. And
it's wholly satisfying. Like, the thing is, if Atreus had, like, let's say the mask had resolved in a different way, where someone puts it on and looks into the...
And becomes Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
Smoking.
I loved all the little references. There's a PlayStation battle that basically, there's a PlayStation All-Stars reference in this game that kind of canonizes PlayStation All-Stars in the God of War canon, which I thought was really funny.
Sweet.
But yeah, like, I mean, you open a can of worms if a character puts on a thing and gains all of the knowledge of the universe.
Yeah.
So I kind of get why you would want to not do that. But like, no, because it has to be something that would be tempting to Atreus, and that's tempting regardless of the situation and regarding like Odin and Kratos and Ragnarok, right? But I get why they went in the direction that they went. I can see why people would be disappointed that there wasn't a stronger storyline with the mask and the crack in the world. I feel like that's going to come up in the next game.
That could be interesting.
I feel like that's going to be a part of the future.
Because that crack
Because
being
where the
out
fuck
of
did
nowhere,
that crack come from, right? Like,
yeah, Odin. I don't think even he knew where he didn't know. So
not necessarily like you know, like, oh, someone's gonna actually like do the thing. It's like, I just think it's like, hey, maybe there are other cracks. Maybe this is Doctor Who season 5 and the universe is falling apart because the TARDIS exploded. Who knows? But like, there's so many like good conclusions to the story and to the characters, but there's a lot like left dangling for the future, which I quite liked as well. But not in like a way where you're like, oh, I'm mad that like this didn't have a conclusion. It's just like, no, you've got a lot of threads you can pick up if you wanted to.
yeah, but at the same time, I think it's such a satisfying conclusion. Like if they decided
We're done.
we're not going to touch God, we're
Fine.
done. We're not. Yeah, we're starting a new IP somewhere else on another thing that we believe.
Yeah.
I think they've already kind of said they're doing a new IP.
Yeah, they're
that's what
working
Corey's
on
now.
multiple games. So Corey's not working on that. On God of War, he's working on something else.
Yeah, yeah, it's like, yeah, I absolutely love it. I'm sorry, I have to bring this one now, final thing up before post credits. I loved the battle at the end, the whole thing of just charging through, because I literally was thinking, this feels like the end of the final mission in Mass Effect 2, where you just like charging in, thinking, you could all die here.
That was the game I just played before God of War Ragnarok.
No.
I loved the fact that it was gameplay. I love the fact that none of the battle was a cutscene. The only part that was really a cutscene was when Sindri destroys the wall. And then there's like dialogue and bits and stuff, but like the actual fighting from start to end, like never happened in a cutscene. And I love God of War for that, because I think a lot of games would have shown the epicness of the battle happening, like the epicness scale of the battle happening in cutscenes throughout, right?
Yeah.
Whereas like God of War just went, no, you're gonna fucking fight through this. Pick that fucking axe up. Yeah. Loved it. I love the fact that we rarely talked about the gameplay at all.
Because I don't think you needed to.
No, you don't. I love it though. It's so good. Like there was this one move and I used it liberally, not because it was a good move, just because it looks fucking awesome. Where it's like I unlocked it and you throw the axe at someone and it bounces off them, and then you hit L1 and R2. And Kratos charges forward, pulls the axe in from the air, and then jumps into the air and slams the ground. It does an ice attack, and I was like, it's not my best move. It's really slow, and I can get hit while I'm doing it, but it looks so good. But I just kept using it over and over again, like, just because of that. Okay. I used the axe more than anything else, just because I love the axe. Like
the axe was so good. All of them were. I love that they brought in a new item.
In the post game, like the spear was just too quick for me not to use it, like the really hard stuff. But like everywhere else, I was like axe, and they would be like, "Oh, but the chaos blades are really better against these enemy axe."
You don't tell Amy.
I'm gonna use this fucking axe. This axe is fucking amazing. God of War Ragnarok turned me into someone I never thought I would be. Someone who uses a shield. Like, I was using that shield liberally. Like, and I was just like, fucking, this is great. I got the Stonewall shield, you know, the one that can actually block the yellow attacks that are supposed to, like, break your guard. Just because I was like, this is great. And, like, you mix it in with dodge. I was mixing it in with dodges and stuff. And I felt great playing this game. Like, I felt like a God of War. Especially when I fucking platinum the damn thing. Holy shit.
Post game.
Yeah,
you've got stuff you want to bring up.
So like I don't do post games normally. Like if I like a game, I might mess around in it for a little bit afterwards, but then I'll always like bail. But like I don't know, like there was something about this post game where it was just like narratively it makes sense, right? Where it's like, oh, you know, you finish the game and then Freya and Mimir and Kratos are like, there's this maybe like just destroying like Odin and Asgard isn't going to fix the entire world, which they're absolutely right. Let's go and do that now, and like you could like mop up all of the stuff that you didn't do. But there's also a bunch of new stuff that you can do too. So like I love the post game of this, and I just kept going because I was just like, this is great. Like this isn't post game because I'm pretty sure you can do it in the actual like before the credits, but like the crater, like which is an area you unlock very late in the game. So I did a couple of bits in there. That's the side where you get the side quest. The guy jumps out of the boat, and you fight a dragon, and it's amazing. But then, like, you fight the dragon, and then maybe you look around a little bit more, but then you go, like, this is a big area. I'm just going to go back to the main story because it's getting really good. So I came back later, and there's, like, a whole fucking narrative where it's like you go to a jungle, and there's more dragons, and there's ogres chucking rocks at you, and then, like, you go and, like, there's a dam that Odin built, and if you break the dam, like, you flood the entire crater, and then you can, like, sail around it in a boat. And, like, as far as, like, because I 100%ed every area of the game. The crater was amazing from start to finish to actually just go through and do everything in. Like, it was so good. Like, taking Freya along to, like, because essentially what you're doing is you're restoring nature, right? And there's a lot of favors where you find spirits in this area. And it all ties in with like how the crater became a crater, how it got destroyed, because there's a frozen lightning bolt in the crater, and the only other place there's a frozen lightning bolt is in Midgard, and it's from Kratos fighting Thor. And by the way, this is like a second spoiler warning. Like I don't know if you want to know this shit or if you want to play through the post game yourself. But maybe bail if you don't, because it turns out the crater is the crater because Kratos' wife fought Thor in Vanaheim and created the crater and fucking destroyed an entire valley doing so. Because she was mad at him because he killed all the giants.
Understandable.
And you learn that. Yeah, it's such a great like peeling back the layers where it's just like at first Kratos is just like, well, they could be because they're talking about like this fair-haired woman with like an amazing like temper. And she just busts in while Thor's drinking in a tavern, and they fight each other. And he's like, "Well, it's a fair-haired warrior. There could be anyone, right?" And like you slowly like learn more of the story, and eventually it's like, "No shit, that was fair." And the best part is like partway through, when someone describes the fair-haired warrior, and they're like, shit, that probably was fair, but we need to find the proof because there's like one more quest that I had to do. And Freya's just like, wait, I knew her. And it's like, wait, Freya and Fair knew each other? Like they met, apparently. And it was just like, there's so much cool shit that's just like, I never would have known if I hadn't pushed on through through all of the stuff and 100% and all the stuff. And it was just so good. There's so many like cool bits of lore and bits of story that are just hidden behind like a lot. You have to do a lot if you want 100% this game. But like it's one of the few games where it's like it's not just like checking the lists, right? And like checking all the boxes of all the things that you can collect. It's like, no, you actually learn things about this cool setting or about these cool characters. Like you pick up this weird relic partway through the game and it doesn't do anything. And like that everyone will probably do that because I think it's part of like the story. And then like I figured like you read the thing and you're just like I figured out what it did, and it's like it wakes up these troll statues that you can find throughout and they're not marked as like completion, so like you have to actually work to find out. And if you kill them all, you get this cool armor. It boosts your defense stats so high like the bar doesn't the bar can't go that far. Which is good because it carried me through some of the tough boss fights. I'm trying to think what else there was. There was a lot of cool story stuff in there. And obviously there was the funeral, which you can go to, which triggers the full credits. It's
funny that the thing that triggers the full credits is a funeral.
Yeah. Like, I didn't, like, when I was telling you, like, hey, there's one thing, like, you should definitely do after you get the credits. You get the first set of credits. But I was like, I don't want to tell you you have to go at the funeral just yet. Because at that point, like, Brock hadn't even died when you were telling me what you were up to. So I was like, just enjoy the game and I'll tell you afterwards. I love the banter back and forth between Mimir and Brock and Kratos about riddles.
And then he gets it.
And then he gets it at the very end. There's like, it's a hole. And it's just like, oh man. Like, but
again,
like,
just beautiful storytelling.
Yeah, sure. Like if you wander around the map, right? After the game as it ended, like you can find all of the characters again, like doing their shit. Like you find Thrud in Alfheim.
Yeah, I know this part.
Yeah, and like she just picks up Mjolnir and flies off. And it's just like, holy shit, that was so cool. Like the kid that Atreus befriends in Asgard, he's like, the coin that, you know, when you were talking about the thing where Odin tries to offer Kratos the deal and he gives him the coin and he just says no and throws the coin away. Like it's embedded in a wall, and the kid from the kid that Atreus made friends with is trying to get it out of the wall because like it's a coin that's been touched by at least 3 gods. This is going to be worth a fortune. I love the little touches like that. Like if you go back to, because one of the things that happens is there's these fragments of Asgard. Like Asgard basically exploded, and fragments landed in all of the other realms. And like, if you go to the Raven place, the place where the Raven tree is, there's a prison that's landed there, and you can bust into the prison and find the real Tyr. And he's like, "Oh man, like, thanks for the rescue, but I think like you made such a ruckus. I think Odin might notice." And then you're just like, "No, he's dead. Asgard's gone." And Tyr's just like, "Really? Shit." And then like you bust him out and you can find him like just like all over all the different maps. And you find interestingly enough, you find you know, the tuning fork that Sindri used to break Asgard's wall down.
Yeah.
You can find that. It's one of the collectibles you pick up.
Nice.
Because I know like God of War made a lot of references to like fighting Valkyries and the Valkyrie Queen, which I did not do.
In the first game,
yeah. So I'm thinking like all of the post game stuff is probably like, if there's another game that continues on from this storyline, is like stuff that actually happened. It's stuff that like it will say has happened, which is cool because Freya you were talking about Freya's story, like, and like kind of like ends halfway through. Freya actually gets a really cool story conclusion if you go and fight one of the optional bosses, which is the Queen of the Valkyries.
Yeah,
it is the best boss fight in the game. It is so epic. Like you go in and I found it by accident. She kicked. I thought, I'll give it a shot anyway. Like I haven't got like max level gear yet, but I'll see how much damage I do. And no joke, Mooney, I hit her, and I don't even think the health bar moved. And then she fucking destroyed me. And then what's funny is you respawn at the checkpoint, and you're standing at the edge of the arena, and she's standing there, and she's just like, "We gonna do this or what?" And you can just peace out, and she just goes, "Yeah, that's what I thought." Just like, this is fucking great. But the boss fight is so cool. Like, if you know, like when you get hit by an unblockable attack, and it does like a little cutscene thing. So like in the fight, because you always go with Freya because you can't go to this boss until after the credits. The arena doesn't open up. Like there's moments where like I'll get hit by an unblockable attack, and so like Gna is just like stomping on my face, and I don't actually mind that too much. But like instead of it just being like you hold the button down and then you like push her off or you punch her in the leg or whatever, like literally Freya just jumps in with a sword and like they have like dialogue back and forth because she's the Queen of the Valkyries and so is Freya, and then like you get this cool cutscene at the end of it. You know, it was like, I was so unexpected. And I was like, oh, this is cool. This is actually a good character arc for like a good character moment for Freya.
Yeah,
you get one with Mimir as well if you do the other optional stuff, the Berserker gravestones, and then you have to fight the king at the end of it. That was actually the hardest boss fight I had in the game. You fight 12 Berserker, you fight 12 different bosses at 12 Berserker gravestones to then fight the king, unlock the king fight at the end. And then it turns out the king can do all of the moves of the 12 previous bosses you've just fought.
Nice.
Holy fucking shit! I thought I was gonna snap the fucking analog sticks off my PS5 controller. I can't imagine that fight's easy, even if you turn the difficulty all the way down. Like, Jesus Christ. That was what prompted me to go and find like better armor and shit. Like I had until I got to that boss fight, I did not give a shit about any of the stuff that I had equipped. And then I was like proper like making like a build because I was like, I need to beat this boss.
Yeah.
I did turn on the mini boss checkpoints. This is like a setting in the gameplay where you can you turn it on, and like if you get the mini bosses down past halfway, like health, it creates a checkpoint at the halfway point.
Yeah, I had that on as well. Yeah,
I turned that on for those last two boss fights, and then I didn't actually need need it for Gnar when I finally beat Gnar. And the Crucible challenges were really cool too. That was the last thing I did though, because they took ages. There's one other really cool side quest which I'd recommend people go and actually play some of the post game in God of War Ragnarok. One really cool side quest is called Cross the Realms, which you might have seen talked about on Twitter. It's a tribute to one of the developers that passed away during development. Where they wanted to put their partner, his partner, wanted to put some kind of like tribute in the game for him, and like they pitched it to the game director, and the game director came back and made it this whole quest. It's like the ballad of hang on, I wrote it down so I didn't forget it. The ballad of Jari and Soma, and you like go around all the different realms. Like you might have seen the hearts at certain points, which were like graffitied onto walls in some places. Yeah. That's that quest. That's part of that quest. And you go around, you collect ingredients, and then you cook at like the eternal campfire, which is in Midgard, which is a nice rainbow fire, which I thought was a nice touch.
Oh, that's nice.
It's a really, really, really like even without like the context of this being a tribute to like the developer, it's just a really nice, touching quest in amongst all of the brutal dismemberment and screaming. What I learned from playing this game until 4 o'clock in the morning one night is Kratos screams a lot.
Especially when wake their parents up.
No, but I was very conscious of the amount of noise that was happening. Especially when I was swearing at it when I was trying to fight King Hrolf. I was like, fuck you, you fucking piece of shit. I blocked that. Oh, I haven't showered at a game like that in a while. That's usually a good sign. Anyway, yeah, go do the post game. It's actually really good, and you get a lot of story stuff. And just the only thing I will say is like the crater in Vanaheim, my favorite part of the game to like just wander around in. The rest of Vanaheim, like the foresty bit and then the river that you could... I fucking hated my entire existence trying to fucking navigate that place. Even with a fucking compass and a map, I got lost so much. I hated it. I was so glad when I finally finished it. That was the only time where I was like, I waved, like, on my path to platinum, that was the only time where I was like, is this worth it? I've been running around in a circle for like 20 minutes trying to find my way out of this section of the game. I can't even use fast travel because I gotta fucking get to a gateway. Like, yeah, the fast travel system is great until you're trying to 100% the game, and then it's like you are keenly aware of its limitations. When you can't travel around everywhere, it's like, oh, fuck. That's it. The post game is awesome. It enhanced my experience of God of War Ragnarok for sure.
Yeah, I haven't fully played all of post game. I don't know if I will because I'm trying to play
Pokemon.
Performance.
Other games exist. Like if I hadn't have had a day to sit down and just do that. I even talked about it on Twitter last night, where I wasn't sure I was actually going to get it last night. And I said, like, if I don't do this and then I have to put the game down for a few days because I got some shit going on later this week. And it's like going to be like a week later when I I don't know if I'm going to pick the game back up and platinum it. Like, for me personally, but like, yeah. It was such a good experience to do it. I'm really glad I did it.
Yeah, the game's incredible. I absolutely adored it. I loved what they I'm intrigued to see what they're going to do next, if there is a next, because obviously
I think there's a next.
we didn't touch on it, but obviously but at the end, Atreus leaves. He goes off to go and find the rest of the other giants, and Kratos stays behind to basically become the full-on general leader and to help start rebuilding.
We didn't talk about the last prophecy, which was such a fucking. It made it was such a nice moment, where it was like Kratos was like, Kratos is being like worshipped, like not feared but revered.
Yeah,
and it's just like, and then he comes out of the thing, and they're like, and Mamiya's like, what was in there? And it's just like a future I could never have even imagined. And I'm just like, oh man,
yeah,
he did it.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's so. Both Kratos and Atreus have such satisfying, incredible endings. I think that it works on an incredible level.
It works both ways, doesn't it? It's like The Last of Us Part 2. It's like, if that's all there is, I'm fine with that being the conclusion. Yeah. If there's more, I feel like there could be more. Like,
yeah, it's kind of like the Uncharted 2 thing. It's not Uncharted 2, Uncharted 4. Like, they've set that up for another game, maybe with their daughter.
Sure.
But if they don't touch it, it's just like, that was an incredible ending. It was so satisfying.
I'm happy either way.
Yeah,
hit that sweet spot.
Yeah.
I think if there is another game, though, and you're going to see this talked about a lot on the internet, where it's like, if there's another game, the next game will just be Atreus. It's like, it won't. Like the next God of War, Atreus will have a bigger role in the next, like, as a playable character.
I think Atreus is to be the person you play most
probably
in the next game.
But like, Kratos is definitely going to be in it and playable now.
Yeah, but I think Kratos will. But for me, if I was doing it, Kratos wouldn't come into it until halfway through the game.
There was an interesting moment when you find Tyr, the real Tyr, in the post game, when he talks about, like, because he doesn't know who Kratos is. When I think it's Mamiya is like, oh, this is Kratos, and Tyr's just like, I know that sounds familiar, and then like it turns out he has this like stone. He can visit other like cultures, like, and I think he can time travel. I'm not sure. And there were a few conversations about time travel in the game, because Kratos has done that before in previous games. We'll see where that goes. But I just thought that was interesting, because I treat anything in the post game as potentially either an ending, which it was with like Freya and the Valkyrie Queen, or as like a potential like thing for the next game. So we'll see where that goes. But when you mentioned that, I just wanted to bring it up. Where I was like, oh, there was something really interesting that happened.
Well, when you were talking the last bits you were talking, I was literally thinking, oh, we've skipped over this, and this.
yeah, we skipped over a bunch of stuff, but we get to talk about it in January as well. So, hashtag just saying. Hashtag
just saying.
Game of the Year.
Hashtag just saying. Yeah, but no, I just want to say congratulations to the entire team. Thank you to the entire team and cast.
This game,
you've give an incredible game. You've gave us an incredible game that is just satisfactory. Then that's what you want. You want to be feeling great when you come out of this game, of a game in general.
Yeah.
Especially when you're so invested in it.
I felt tired at the end of it because it was quite late, but I also felt really good. Like, it was great to finish it. I was very happy with it, and like, it was a game I had expectations for, and it passed them, and that's rare. Usually games that I have expectations for hit them or don't. Like, it's very rare for me to set my expectations and then for it to just go, nah, actually, to the moon.
Well, to what I can hear, again, I'm not on social media, so you can answer this question better than I can. This is getting more well-received than Last of Us Part 2 did.
Yeah, it is, because, that was that whole thing with The Last of Us Part 2. But everybody seems to love it. Everybody seems to love Ragnarok, which is awesome. You love to see it.
Yeah. Marvel did Ragnarok brilliantly. You revived Thor, and Santa Monica have done Ragnarok brilliantly and give us a satisfying excellent.
This is my favorite Ragnarok. Can confirm. Yeah, no, it was awesome. Like, I'll be thinking about this game for a while.
Yeah. I'm still thinking about it. Like when I first started playing it, and like I got a few hours in, I was just like, okay, it was the Friday night, and I
Sure.
was just like, okay, nah, put it down. Okay, I've played a few hours on it. I'm now gonna go and chill. I want to go to bed. I'm feeling tired. Let's go to bed. I had a crap night's sleep that night. It
Sure.
might have been because I was maybe starting to get a little bit ill,
Sure.
but my main brain was just like, oh my god, Kratos is so good. Atreus is awesome. I love this game, and I'm only 5 hours in.
Sure. I mean, that's one of the reasons I binged it, right? Like,
Yeah,
I just enjoyed it that much.
yeah.
Yeah, man. Should we move on? We haven't actually got long left.
Yeah, let's do it.
Indie Game of the Week. This definitely isn't halftime. Indie Game of the Week is a thing we do every week where I was about to start doing the OpenCritic thing, where we talk about a cool looking indie game that's coming soon or coming not soon, the opposite of soon. It's coming at some point. This week's Indie Game of the Week is Abiotic Factor.
Did you change it? Because it says need to change.
Yeah, I did. As a member of the
just
science team trapped by a trans-dimensional experiment gone sideways, I changed all the things that say need to change in case there's any more down the line. It was a reminder for me because I did the part of this on my phone earlier when I was away from my computer. Anyway,
I like that one says deleting this will break the dock.
it will break the dock. It will. Like, because of the way the contents and the hyperlink work, if I deleted all of the stuff out of it, like, I'd have to redo the entire thing. Just don't worry about it. This week's Indie Game of the Week is Abiotic Factor. As a member of the science team trapped by a trans-dimensional experiment gone sideways, you must forge a path to safety. Employ your big-brained talents to stay alive in a doomed facility. Use a spectrum of scavenged resources, craft weird science gadgets, hack into new sectors, and escape to the surface with your team. Explore every inch of the underground Gate Cascade research facility, from ravaged office sector to the heavy machinery and mines of manufacturing, through the secret labs and dimensions beyond, in a retro world reimagined for modern multiplayer co-op. Craft an assortment of smart science tools, food, gear, and weapons to defeat denizens from a myriad of worlds. Gain the advantage against alien enemies and paranormal problems by getting sneaky, smart, or downright devious. Grow your geek skills and stats to develop a carefully balanced interplay of strengths and weaknesses. Select your traits, both good and bad, based on your scientist's hobbies and talents or lack thereof. Are you a fast learner? Do you need to use the restroom more often? Are you a restless sleeper? Maybe you cook like a pro. Customize to your heart's content as long as your time matches. And just remember, Egghead, you're super smart, not superhuman, and after all, you're with the science team. This game, which I forgot the name of, Abiotic Factor, is being developed by Deep Field Games and published by Deep Field Games, and it's coming fall 2023 PC via Steam. There's a link in the description. Wherever you've got this podcast, go click it, go support the developer, go wishlist the game. I am told by my developer friends that that's really important. And I believe them.
I can confirm that.
Yeah. So do that. Hit the wishlist button. My wishlist on Steam is now 300 games. Am I going to get around to play them all? Hell no. Am I going to keep wishlisting games? Hell yes.
All right, Damien. Next topic.
All right, so we have to do this fairly quickly, because we're on to 92 minutes, so we haven't got very long on the podcast left. It's the Game Awards soon. I'm still debating whether I'm going to watch it live after the last two Jeff Keighley things, but I feel like at this point, sunk cost fallacy is sunk in, and I'm like, I might as well complete the trilogy. But anyway, the Game Awards sometimes award games with awards. Not often. Do you like that one? in between appearances from Fast and Furious cast members, they give out some awards. Jeff Keighley did a thing where he announced all of the nominees, and I thought me and Moody could predict what we think might win. and then probably complain about the nominees list. That's probably just me. I'm not actually going to do
You've
that.
played more than me, so you're the one who's going to be complaining a lot.
All I'm going to say is, right, I'm going to let myself have one right at the beginning, and then I'm not going to complain about it, because me, you, and Alfie did this last year, and I complained all the way through. I'm not going to complain about it at all, except for this one thing. How the fuck?
Where we go?
How the fuck do you nominate a game for best game direction and best narrative, and it doesn't even make it into best indie game? What the fuck happened there? Okay, I'm done. Should we just start with Game of the Year?
Or even Game of the Year?
Yeah, like Game of the Year, like sure, but it's an indie game. You didn't even put it in the indie game one. Like, it should have been in Game of the Year, sure, because again, it's been nominated for two main categories.
Is it not an indie game? Is it a double A?
It's not. It's an indie game.
Is it? Okay.
I think it got published by Annapurna, but it's
okay.
Plenty of Annapurna games get put in.
Where are we going first, Amy? So I can have a look on my list.
Should we just start a Game of the Year?
Go Game of the Year.
All right. So the nominees for Game of the Year should have an envelope for this. In alphabetical order: A Plague Tale: Requiem, Elden Ring, God of War: Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Stray, and Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
I am hoping to play A Plague's Tale before the end of the year.
It's very good.
And Stray.
I am hoping to play Stray. I haven't played Stray, but
yeah. I don't think I'll get the Elden Ring.
I don't think I'll get Xenoblade. It's like 100 hours long.
Yeah. I don't think I'm going to get a chance to finish Forbidden West. I've struggled with Forbidden West.
I feel like I've been. I mean, I liked Forbidden West, but like I wasn't super hot on it, and I feel mildly vindicated at this point because a lot of people have sort of come around and being like, "Oof, this is a slog," and it's still a really good game. It's still a really good game. I'm just throwing it out there. That was it.
No, the thing is about it, what I'm disliking about it, what I've struggled with it, is that it's kind of the same thing of what Square Enix did with the third Lara Croft game. Mm-hmm. They made her unlikable, and I think they've made the main character Aloy a bit unlikable and unnice to her friends.
She goes on this character arc. And again, I've only played the first 10 hours or so.
Yeah.
But she goes in this like character arc, which just fundamentally doesn't make fucking sense. Where it's just like, I'm not going to accept help from anyone. You literally learned this in the last game. It's like you've reset the clock back to zero just so you can have some fucking drama in this game. And I was not here for it.
Yeah, I was thinking that myself. I was like, wait, she did all this in the first game. So.
Yeah, we've already been through this. What are you doing?
Yeah. Why are you doing this again? And everything like that. But with my limited knowledge right now, I've already played one of these games.
Sure.
So it's God of War for me.
I mean, I don't think we need to go into detail about why you picked that. But like, if I'm predicting something, I feel like obviously there's only two candidates. Right, it's Elden Ring or it's God of War, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like recency bias might kick in here. But I said that when Sekiro won. And that was another.
And everyone thought that might have been for when Red Dead Redemption 2 came out, because God of War came out before Red Dead.
I loved God of War. I didn't like Red Dead Redemption 2 as much, so I was like sitting. I remember sitting in the stream going, "Oh man, like Red Dead's gonna win," and that sucks because God of War's the best game. I think God of War would, and I was like, "Fucking get in." So like, don't count God of War out. Don't count God of War out against.
I don't at all. I am not. But also it is like, no offense to Requiem, no offense to Forbidden West, or Stray, or Xenoblade. It is literally, for a lot of these categories, it's to a horse race.
Sure.
The next category is, I'm very intrigued by this, because I know you've played one game on this list.
What's the next category?
Everybody fucking loves. This is game direction. Immortality,
because it's like, so yeah, I'm going to predict God of War winning Game of the Year. Best game direction is Elden Ring, God of War, Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Stray. I'm not reading the same list, I promise. And Immortality.
Yeah.
I don't think it wins. I don't think there's enough people that have played it. In the voting pool.
Okay, so the question is, should it win? If it was done AAA with such the hype and everything like that,
I mean, if it had that hype level, if people had
the money behind it and the hype and also like the backing and everything.
I think it's a strong
and
contender
marketing.
because, like, you were on the podcast where I reviewed Immortality, and as I pointed
you
out,
loved
like,
it.
as I pointed out, they made 3 different films from 3 different time periods, and not one of them looked out of place. Like, the direction in this game was absolutely absurdly good. I think there's a strong argument for it to win this category, but I think Elden Ring is going to win. I think God of War is going to win Game of the Year, and Elden Ring is going to win Game Direction, because usually that's how it works at the Game Awards.
Which is weird to me. It's really, really weird to me that
the way I've seen people talk about how they vote blows my mind.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of it saying, "Oh, this game's thing, so I'm going to vote for this game."
Yeah, like, oh well, I think God of War is going to win. I think God of War deserves to win Game of the Year, so I'm going to give I'm going to give Game Direction to the other one. You know, like Elden Ring in this case. You know what I mean? It's just like, that's weird, man.
Yeah.
Just
It
pick
just
the one
makes
that
no
you
sense.
think. Pick the one that you think had the best fucking Game Direction. If God
Yeah.
of War Ragnarok wins 12 fucking Game Awards, then it wins 12 Game Awards. Like,
yeah. I understand why it's there, but I disagree it being there, and that is Forbidden West.
Game Direction, yeah. I mean,
think
yeah.
that it's designed beautifully and everything like that, but this game came out a bit buggy at the same time. There were some bugs when it came out. Compared to what I've just played Ragnarok, I mean, barely had a bug.
It was like one like graphical glitch I had, and again, I played I 100%ed it. So every area of the game.
It's insane.
There was one bit, and I wish I'd pushed the button to record it, where I kind of like everything glitched out for a bit, and like Kratos started teleporting across the map while I was swinging the axe facing the wrong direction and stuff. And I was like, I should have grabbed a video of that, but that was literally all that happened in 45 hours.
Okay. He said he wanted to get through this fast. So Game Direction, for me, God of War.
Yeah. I mean, God of War. You shouldn't count God of War out just for the single shot, which is just a technical achievement, and I can't believe they managed to pull it off again.
Yeah. Best narrative.
So the best narrative nominees are Plague Tale: Requiem, Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, and Immortality.
Again, you can answer this question because I haven't played the game for it. A lot of people are questioning why Elden Ring is in this.
Because how do I describe this? Video games can tell their stories in different ways than what I would call a traditional narrative. Like God of War Ragnarok is a more traditional narrative, right? You go from start to finish and there's cutscenes. Like video games can tell their stories in different ways, and that's one of the strengths of the medium. And like we need to embrace that as like part of like video games as an art form, because it's what stands us apart from movies and TV shows and comics. Like Immortality doesn't do that either. Like it tells a story in a really weird way. Like you have to find it. You have to like chisel through the fucking game to find the actual narrative. And Elden Ring just tells its stories in a different way. Like it tells really good stories, but because it's not like
the
traditional way. Like I can see a lot of people. I've seen it on social media. A lot of people are saying, "Well, why is this? It doesn't have strong writing." It does. It has really strong writing. You just have to do it and engage with it in a different way.
Yeah, for me again, I would vote God of War. So
I mean, God of War would be my pick. Is it like a second? I'd love to see Immortality win this one.
Yeah, that's fair,
because I think it's got a really great story. If you And again, it's the way like it unfolds as you're looking through all this stuff.
All right, I've gone to best art direction.
Load, motherfucker. No,
I can tell you, I've got it up here.
Do it, yeah. Because
so Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Gone, and Stray.
It's like the same 4 games, and then there's one different one.
It really is right now, yeah. I can at least speak on these ones, even though I haven't played
you've got eyes.
Some of them.
Yeah,
because I have eyes. Yeah, all of them, to what I can tell, are all visually stunning in their own unique way.
Sure.
Like Elden Ring, come on, even I can tell that's a drop dead gorgeous, beautiful, visually stunning game. Straight in its own unique way as well. Forbidden West, can't deny it. Those dinosaurs are fucking sexy, and the detail in Aloy and the other characters are incredible. It's really, really well done.
Put them in even a God of War.
I'm gonna go God of War again. Still, yeah.
This is what I'm saying though. If that's what wins, if that's what you think should win, then that's what you think should win.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick what I think for me would win.
Like I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed that like different art styles didn't make it into best art direction. Like I'm thinking about like something like Neon White, right, which is just like the anime thing, which I think looks really good. Like this all seems like it was driven by horsepower and graphical fidelity, which is fine. But yeah, God of War Ragnarok like blew my fucking head off with some of the stuff that you could see in that game. So like yeah,
some of the visuals, like the parts when you see, like when we spoke about it, when the axe and hammer came together, the visuals on that were incredible. And I was just like, oh my god, this is amazing. I'm all in it. I was so absorbed because of everything going around and the visuals and whatnot. I was just like, yeah, give me that.
No, yeah, like I think it looks awesome.
Okay.
But instead of saying about looks, let's talk about sounds.
Yeah. Scores and music.
So A Plague Tale Requiem, Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Metal Hellsinger, and Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I can see Metal Hellsinger winning this. Because it's a music game. Like it's literally a music game.
I think it's there just because it's a music game.
Because we wrote off Guardians last year, and then Guardians won.
Still shouldn't have won.
I know, but we were off for a similar reason.
This is where for me they should separate this category into score and one from soundtrack
and soundtrack. Yeah, licensed soundtrack. Sure.
Yeah, because then you could probably go Metal Hellsinger, you would be in the music category one, and you probably would win fair and square.
Sure.
I mean, and everything.
It's all sounds.
Maybe it's all subjective and everything like that. But I'm just saying, like, I think it's just like there's so many categories this idiot has on this fucking show.
I know.
That I'm just
We're
like,
not going to
why?
go through
Why?
them all. Anyway.
Yeah.
God of War Ragnarok.
I know the Elden Ring's.
It's really fucking good.
It's fucking good. Really I have heard it. I haven't heard Requiem's and Xenoblades or Hellspringer. So again, I would still say this is probably a 2-horse race. I will go for Ragnarok. Of course, like some of the music's, man.
I was listening to some of it today.
It's a sexy soundtrack.
Good. I've had the main like motif. You know, like the God of War. I've had that stuck in my head for like all day. I guess that's what happens when you play 45 hours in 3 days.
Yeah.
But that's the one. But like all the different.
I watched the reveal of at E3 again of the first God of the last God of War. And I was just like, God, this is just
nice. I am probably going to watch that documentary this week.
I was thinking it. I want a second one, please, PlayStation. I want the sequel.
Please tell me you've been making another one.
Yes, please give us it now.
But like what I will say is, because we're like blasting through these, but what I will quickly say is like these aren't necessarily the nominees that I would have picked. Like my favorite soundtrack of the year is none of these. My favorite.
Which one
soundtrack.
is it? May I ask?
So there's Proteus, which I reviewed a few weeks ago. That soundtrack is amazing, and I loved it. It's like a Doom-esque first-person shooter.
Cool.
And I was like, this is fucking sick.
Okay, out of the ones who are there, who would you pick?
Who would I pick? God of War. God of War? It is between God of War or Elden Ring. Like, A Plague Tale has good music as well, and Metal Hellsinger does, but I've not played Xenoblade. But I think God of War I'd pick. What I think is going to win? Elden Ring, maybe?
It could be interesting, yeah. There's no doubt about it. One game's not going to walk all of it. We all thought that when it came to Red Dead Redemption 2, and it won a few, but then God of War won the main categories, and everything. So, but best audio design. This could be very interesting. This is where I actually think Elden Ring and God of War might not win this one, because it's going up against Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, Gran Turismo 7, and Horizon Forbidden West.
Horizon's got great sound design and it's
Audio
robots.
design, yeah.
Yeah, it's robots.
And the cars in Gran Turismo were really good. And heck,
I mean, we've always said Call of Duty's sound design is like on another level compared to like other first-person shooters. Like we've always said.
Don't think it's gonna win.
It won't win. It'll never win.
Yeah. So for me, I'm gonna go.
It's nominated.
Forbidden West. I'm going Forbidden West here.
I'm gonna say Elden Ring. I think Elden Ring.
We finally separate.
What's
best
performance? Christopher Judge. We don't even need to read anything else. Christopher Judge, right? I mean, I'll read the nominees.
I'll say this right now. I fucking hope it's Christopher Judge. But go on, the rest of the nominees.
Yeah, so you've got Ashley Birch, who played Aloy in Horizon Forbidden West. You've got Charlotte McBurney, who played Amicia in A Plague Tale Requiem. Christopher Judge, who played Kratos in God of War Ragnarok. You got Man Engaged, who played... Marissa Marcel in Immortality, and you've got Sonny Suljic, who played Atreus, if that really is his name.
I hope those two don't cancel each other out for one of the others to get it, which is unfair because I'm sure they did all a great job.
Every single one of these, I've played all of these games, and every single one of these performances is amazing.
Great and
to
deserving.
Me, Christopher Judge is like
he just
10 levels above
Yeah,
it.
he really was. I want to see it. Like, I really want to see just him win it. But I would not begrudge if Sonny won it though, because I think he brought it. Atreus brought it in the last game.
So many categories. What the fuck?
Games for impact. We have a memoir blue as Dusk Falls, Citizen Sleeper, Enderling, Extinction is Forever, Hindsight, and I was a teenage exocolonist. Colonist. Yeah.
Space colonist.
I have played one of these games.
I have played 3 of these games, but the one I think is going to win, I haven't even played.
Why are they going to win?
So I think Endling's going to win. Just from what I've heard of the game, because I'm looking at what this award actually is for a thought-provoking game with a pro-social meaning or message, and like I think Endling goes pretty hard on like tying like emotions to like climate change. From what I've talked with people who have played the game. Like the
Endling, what's Endling? Where's Endling?
It's where like there's like
the fox
and you've got the 3 kids, you've got the 3 cubs, and like the world's ended and you're the last foxes, and you've got to go from like one to the other, and your foxes can die as you go. The game we both looked at and said that does look amazing. I am not emotionally prepared to play this game.
Fuck yeah, I forgot about that game.
Yeah. It's like I just can't.
Well, the only game I've played out of this was a Memoir Blue. And that is that hits, that can hit. It really can. I haven't tried a Dusk Falls yet. I want to get to that.
I did play and finish that. It's a cool game.
And I want to try Endling. There's no doubt about it. So right now I'm going to say Memoir Blue because it's the only one I played. I don't think it's fair for me to pick ones I haven't played. So for me,
like I say, like I'm just guessing what I think is going to win, not necessarily what I want to do.
We won't talk about best ongoing. What next? Best indie. So A Cult of the Lamb, Neon White, Sifu, Stray, and Tunic. I know you've already got one thought on this. I was thinking, where's one game that should be on this
Immortality,
list?
Jeff. Fuck's Immortality.
He didn't vote. He doesn't vote, does he?
Stray's going to win this, right? It's the cat game. It's in Game of the Year. This happens every fucking year.
Yeah. This is it screams Stray, but like I know a lot of people love Neon White. I know you love Neon White.
It's I did. I think it's a niche game though. I'm not daft enough to think like, oh yeah, like this is a popular game. Like it's just popular in my circle.
That's the thing about it when it comes to the Jeff Keighley Awards. You can't trust the audience.
Yeah. I think there's an outside chance that Tunic could win this, But
I think Cult of Lamb could.
that's fair.
I think Cult of Lamb really could, because I think that had a bit of a following.
I want to go back to Tunic and try it again because I remember you reviewed it.
I enjoyed it.
And I just
really
was
enjoyed it.
not in the right fucking frame of mind to play that game.
That's fair.
So I want to go back to it and try it again.
I have no thoughts on best mobile game, best community support,
best action game,
innovation and accessibility.
See, I always feel weird doing this because it's like I don't know what should win. Like I don't feel like I'm a person who can judge that. Like
all I can say is that I've played 4 of these games.
That says a lot. That says a lot.
So the games are as Dusk Falls, God of War Ragnarok, Return to Monkey Island, The Last of Us Part 1, and The Quarry. I think it's between the two Sony games, and that's either God of War or Last of Us. So I'm gonna,
right.
and I think it's gonna be God of War.
I think it's gonna be The Last of Us Part 1.
They're talking win this year.
The game that isn't God of War. No, like God of War is like I poked it around in the accessibility menus.
Oh, they've got some excellent accessibility.
The one I always do. I don't know if this is accessibility or just general gameplay, but the one I always do is like the QuickTime events. Whenever I have the option to turn those from like rapid button pushes to just holding the button, I do it.
Fair.
Like, and it's not an accessibility thing. It's just one, I don't want to break my fucking controller, and 2, I fucking hate QT.
Fair. I've gone straight to best game next. Best action game, should I say next?
Best action game.
Bayonetta 3, Call of Duty, Neon White, Sifu, and Teenage Ninja Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge.
I've played one of these games.
I have played one of these games as well.
Which one?
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
You played it without me? I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I don't know what's gonna win this. I feel like I just
want to go back to my previous statement. I don't give a fuck anymore. If I've played it or not, I'm gonna go Bayonetta 3.
Yeah.
Because I don't think the Outer World gaming verse give a fuck about what the controversy when it comes to the voice actress and everything. So,
I mean, let's not talk about that.
Oh yeah.
Sick of talking about that. Yeah, like I'd give it a Neon White, but yeah, I could see Bayonetta 3 winning.
That's fair.
Best action/adventure.
A Plague Tale Requiem, God of War,
Game of the Year again.
Horizon Forbidden West, Stray, and Tunic.
Fucking God of War.
It's God of War.
What's going on, man? Like, more than 6 games came out this year, guys. Yeah, it's God of War.
Yeah, best role-playing game: Elden Ring. Live Live, Pokemon Legends Arceus, Triangle Strategy, and Xenoblade 3. It's going to Elden Ring.
Triangle Strategy came out this year. Shit,
yeah,
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I played that.
So did I. I played a little bit to it. It was just like, nah, this is going to be too much.
It was just really long, wasn't it? It was a good game, but like, I sunk about 50 and 20 hours into it. And I was just like, I can't. I don't know enough about fighting games. Should we do best? Should we do best Switch game? I mean, best family game.
Yeah, why not? So we've got Kirby and the Forgotten Land, Star Wars, Lego Star Wars, Mario Rabbids, Spark of Hope, Nintendo Switch Sports, and Splatoon 3.
Right. The best family. I know I said I was only going to do one, but I'm going to give myself another one because the best family game is Switch Sports. Like when you see family, I'm like a game you can play as a family. Like to me, that's Switch Sports. It's not going to win though. Kirby's probably going to win.
It's either Kirby or Mario and Rabbids.
Yeah,
no doubt.
The single player Kirby game. Oh, I think it has a bit of co-op in it.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? I have nothing for best sim or strategy.
I think best debut indie. And then I haven't clicked on most anticipated game, but I'm curious to see what the nominations are.
Which did you say best debut indie?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's not even
So
fucking
Neon
loading
White,
anymore.
Narco, Stray, Tunic, and Vampire Survives.
Oh Jesus, those are great games. You should play. If you listen to this, you should play all 5 of those games. They're fucking great.
I think this is where Neon White wins.
Tunic, I think, is gonna win.
Cool.
If I was the sole arbiter of the award, I'd give it to Vampire Survivors. Like Neon White's amazing, but like Vampire Survivors had like a moment where a lot of content creators and a lot of people were paying attention to it, and like not many indie games get that.
So I want to bring this one up because I want to rant maybe a little bit here. Best adaptation.
Which that's an award. What is it?
Recognizing outstanding creative work that faithfully and enthusiastically adapts a video game to another entertainment medium.
What's in there? It had literally every adaptation that came out this year has to be in there if you want enough nominees, right? There's not that many adaptations.
Well, he's took one that came out last year.
All right.
So Arceus League of Legends, Cyberpunk Edge Runners,
Okay.
The Cuphead Show, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and Uncharted.
Arcane was last year, wasn't it?
Arcane was last year.
Yeah, I remember everybody was telling me
it?
to watch it. Yeah, I think everybody was telling me to watch it, and I was like, I don't have
Yeah.
Netflix anymore.
You don't? You should check out Cyberpunk Edge Runners as
I
well.
don't have Netflix anymore.
Oh, yeah.
I'm on an anime kick at the minute, so.
I have been a little bit as well.
Mm-hmm.
I've watched a couple of them on Netflix. Maybe you should get Netflix.
I fucking hate you. The first anime I searched to watch came up and it was like, it's on Netflix. And I was like, I'm going to punch a fucking hole in my monitor.
Fair.
I have no,
This is
I
between
haven't
two-
seen,
this is
I haven't
between
seen
two.
any of these, so I don't know.
This is the two-horse race. This is between Arceus and Cyberpunk.
Right, based on everything I
I've
have
not checked
seen.
out Cuphead, so I can't say anything.
Cuphead, there was people who were saying Cuphead wasn't that good. And like Uncharted didn't exactly set the world on fire. Like I literally think, like, were there any other adaptations? I guess if there's
Sonic
series, I guess
the
you got The
Hedgehog
Witcher,
2.
right?
Last Witcher was 2 years ago. The third season doesn't come out until next year.
All right, I don't remember. I don't have Netflix, so I don't.
Yeah. I'll state this: it ain't fucking Sonic, because Sonic 2, Hedgehog 2, is a fucking abomination. It is
It's gonna win. You know?
terrible.
All right,
It is
it's gonna win.
atrocious.
It's gonna win.
It's probably gonna win, eh? But no, for me, it's between Arceus and Cyberpunk Edge Runners.
Arcane.
I think probably.
I'm only correcting you
Cyberpunk
because
will win
Arceus is a
because-
Pokemon game.
Did I say Arceus?
You
Did
said
I?
Arceus, yeah.
My apologies. Arceus League.
Arcane.
I'm doing it on purpose now, though. I think recency bias will win and Cyberpunk will win this.
I don't know. I've heard good things about Arcane. I've heard good things about Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Arcane seems like it would be extremely my shit.
Yeah.
So I'll go with that.
Okay, that's fair.
All right, tell me what the nominees are for most anticipated game. I'm so curious. The website crashed, by the way. The website crashed. I can't even get on it anymore.
Okay, this is going to be interesting. Final Fantasy 16,
Sure,
Resident Evil 4,
makes sense.
Starfield,
Yeah, I get that.
The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom,
It'd be weird if that wasn't on there.
and Hogwarts Legacy.
Ah, fuck off. Really? That's the
Yes.
fifth game of all the games that are coming out. Did Jeff pick these or did the game and critics pick these?
I'm guessing it's the game critics.
Thanks, game critics. I mean, to be fair though, they did all applaud and cheer when the trailer came on at Gamescom, so you know.
Yeah, it's Zelda.
Where the fuck's the other Final Fantasy? Never mind. It's Zelda. No contest.
What's the other Final Fantasy?
7.
Oh, fuck yeah. Fucking hell. Oh my god, I forgot about that.
You fucked that up, games critics. Said you gave it the fucking Tory boarding school simulator. It's Zelda. There's no way it's anything else. It's like last year's was always going to be Elden Ring. It's like it's Zelda. I don't know why.
Even
I
if
don't
Final
know why.
Fantasy 7 was, even if Final Fantasy 7 was on this, it would
It'd still be Zelda.
Yeah.
I
Which
don't
is
know.
really, really weird to think because Final Fantasy would think it's the overall bigger IP.
Sure. Oh, 100%.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
Zelda's not even one of the biggest Nintendo IPs, but it's big.
yeah,
It's big for us. Like people like us, it's huge.
yeah.
Why I don't know why we have awards for games that aren't out yet, but whatever. I don't think there's any other categories.
No, the rest esports, content creator, I do not give a flying fuck about.
It's been many years since I watched an esport. Right. Okay. Let's do the last little bit of the podcast. It's time for games out this week. It doesn't need updating. I didn't delete my note. On November 22nd, Evil West comes to PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. Just Dance 2023 comes to PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and Switch. And Ship of Fools comes to PC. Then on November 23rd, Dysterra comes to PC. That's it. That's all you're getting this week. It's almost like it's Black Friday. Games don't release around Black Friday as people are buying cheap discounted games. Did you see Did you see in the PlayStation sale? The Last of Us Part 2 is like £8.
Nice.
Yeah, right. And The Last of Us Part 1 is like 50. So I've got them both in my wish list for the day I eventually do a retrospective on them. I just think it's really funny. Like when you look at like part 1 is like, oh, it's on sale, it's 10% off. And it's just like, oh, what's happening? Because it's like part 1 came out after part 2. Video games. Anyway, should we move on? I don't have anything to say about any of those games. I don't know any of them.
No, I have nothing to say, so let's move on.
It's time for OpenCritic Head-To-Head. It's a good job we did Pokemon when we did. This is the game we play every single week, more or less, where we try to guess the OpenCritic average of some upcoming games. Whoever gets as closest to the score gets a point. If you manage to guess the score correctly, you get 2 points. 2 weeks ago, because we missed last week, we tried to guess the OpenCritic average of 2 games. The first one was Sonic Frontiers. This was a fucking ping pong between the two of us. I guessed we get a 72. Moody guessed it we get a 75. And at the time of recording, Sonic Frontiers has an OpenCritic average of 73, which means Amy gets the point. This was going from like 74 to 73, and then back to 74, and then back to 73, and it was a roller coaster to like keep up with the score.
Fair.
Knowing that like, those were a point to you and a point to me, so it was like, oh. But we also try to guess the OpenCritic average of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I guessed it would get an 82. Moody guessed it would get an 84. And at the time of recording, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet has an OpenCritic average of 76, which seems high for the videos I've been seeing on Twitter, but that's where we're at. Which gives Amy the point, which puts the scores in Amy 25, Moody 26, and our guests have 3 points. This week we're having a week off. I've almost caught you. I expected to go horribly wrong in the last few weeks.
Well, there's only a handful of games ready to choose from.
Yeah, so Callisto Protocol, and then there's like a couple of like indie games like Choo Choo Charles. I want to do that one just because that could be anything. And then like the last week there's that Rick and Morty game. High on Life. And then that's it. So there's three.
Is the Midnight Sun's out?
Oh, yeah. Maybe we'll do Midnight Suns if I remember when that comes out. Because they delayed it and I deleted it off the calendar and then I don't know when it comes out. Might be the 2nd of December.
I don't know. Is it
that
next
rings
week?
a bell? That rings a bell. Isn't the 2nd of December
I'll have
week?
a look now. Midnight Suns.
That is next week, right?
What is?
The 2nd of December.
No. It's the week after.
Midnight. Can't be.
It doesn't have a release date. It just says 2022. Oh no! So apparently on Steam it says 2nd of December.
Yeah, I was gonna say don't trust Google.
Yeah, 2nd of December is 2 weeks.
Last Friday of the month was this week.
No, it's next week. It's only
Yeah,
the
but
20th, Sophia.
Uh, um,
I just called you Sophia
I
there. My
know.
apologies there.
All right.
It's the 20th, Amy.
Yeah, yeah.
You
So
still got
this Friday is the 25th, and then next Friday is the 2nd.
yeah, but I thought you meant next week.
No, sorry.
That's why I got confused.
I'm living in that temporal bubble. You know, it's Monday. You know what that means. It means it's not really, not for us to. But we have to record these things in advance. What are you going to do? Second, Google doesn't give you accurate information anymore. Have you noticed this?
Yeah, have they been bought by Elon Musk?
No, I just think like it's just shit. I don't know what the crack is. Like, if you type in a game, this is a game I've been looking forward to called Naiad, right? And I don't know if it still does it, but if you type in Naiad release date, bear in mind the game is coming out in 2023. It says it's out on the 13th of October, which was a month ago. But if you Googled it before that, it said it came out on the 13th of June. I had a whole Twitter thread about this because I was like trying to find the release date for it. And I was very confused. But yeah, like Google is weird like that now.
It's one of those things.
Fantasy Critic check-in. Amy's gonna win. Thank you.
Amy's gonna win, yes, no doubt about it, and I will claim second.
The Entropy Center and Ghost.
When Callisto Protocol brings me home.
The Entropy Center and the other game that I picked up just like kicked me right over the line. They both.
And then else 2 games, Midnight Sun, I think I'll fall like face on its face.
I don't know. I've seen a couple of previews that like are quite positive about it.
And
I don't think it's gonna set the world on fire, but it might get her some points.
Yeah, and that's the only thing she's got coming out.
She didn't. She got a God of War points. Like, fair play to Wealthy for having the 2 highest rated games of the year in a team. Like Elden Ring's a given because she was picking first, right? But like, it went all the way down to me to you, and then all the way back up again before she picked God of War. So like, we all skipped God of War.
Yeah, because like, we all thought, I don't think that's coming.
I was convinced. I was convinced it wasn't coming.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, you're in second anyway, right?
Yeah. I'm 4 points ahead of her right now.
Yeah. You've both basically got one game coming out.
Yeah, I think it's basically coming out at the same time.
Yeah, basically. I've got one as well.
We'll know
Crisis
who's second
Core,
by then.
which I keep forgetting is coming out. Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core. We can do that for OpenCritic Head-To-Head. What the fuck? Why did I forget there was a Final Fantasy VII game coming out? Probably not going to play it, though.
Because there is a Final Fantasy game coming out, isn't there?
Yeah, 7. The one that was on
Crisis
PSP.
Core.
Crisis Core.
Yeah.
Keep forgetting it's coming out. I feel like they announced it and then I haven't heard anything. This is Square Enix's thing, right? I don't like to be critical of people doing jobs, but like Square Enix send a lot of games out with like no like marketing. Like, remember Harvestella? There were people who were interested in playing it I still see them pop up on Twitter like saying, wait, it's out? Because it came out weeks ago. And like people who were interested in that game don't know it's out. It's fucking nuts.
That sounds about right.
For Square Enix, I know, right? Like, it's like, what the fuck? Tell people, baseline. Tell people your games are out in a way where they're gonna hear you. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I know it's probably more complicated than I'm letting on, but like, this has been a recurring problem all the way back to like Keith, the biggest Tomb Raider fan I know, didn't even know that Shadow of the Tomb Raider was out like 3 days before it came out.
Yeah, and that's just because they didn't market that very well. It seems like they threw it out at E3, And it got a lot of marketing pushed in, but by then it just like, but by when it was coming out to the game, it was just like,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's it sunk because like even people who were excited for the game were like, shit, is it out? Like, how does that happen?
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's going to do it for episode 329 of the Words About Games podcast. Moody, you made it through the whole show. I'm very proud of you.
Yeah. I'm feeling a lot better.
That's
which
good.
Which is scary.
It's the restorative healing properties of talking about God of War for an hour and a half.
That's true. God of War, Ragnarok,
and then more or
game.
less talking about it through all of the Game Awards and stuff. Which I thought was going to happen.
That's true.
That just makes this a God of War episode.
It's a God of War episode. We think it's going to win everything at the Game Awards.
It's going to win everything because for some reason you nominated the same 4 games over and over again.
The only thing I can think of is that they do the same thing as what the Oscars do. And they basically give you their top 5 things. So, but they obviously put their most favorite at the highest and then second and all like that. Yeah. So basically, all the ones that won obviously probably would have got through. So that was Ragnarok and Elden Ring. They took the first 2 and then it was just a mixture. And then by the end of it, Stray and what's the other game? Forbidden West just had enough points to scrape ahead.
And Xenoblade.
And I think that sounds wrong, though, at the same time, saying it's those games scraped into the game of the year.
Well, I mean, again, like, there was 2 and then everything else. And I am not knocking any of the other nominees or any of the other games. There have been, I have been sitting here while people have been talking about how much of a dry, slow year it is, sitting here going, there's been fucking shitloads of games.
It's because they look at one thing and one thing only. It's called AAA gaming.
Yeah. Boo. Go play weird games. Weird games are the best. I love weird games. Anyway, let's get out of here. Do you have any final words of wisdom for the week?
Have an awesome week, everybody, and go out and play God of War Ragnarok.
Yeah. I feel like we've made that case.
Yeah.
Unless you watch the spoiler section, in which case, oops, sorry.
Fuck it, just play it anyway. You'll have a blast.
We missed so much.
We really did. We really did.
We're out. Peace. And long life.
Yeah.
And all that.